Former senior national representative of Afghanistan to US Central Command, Ahmad Murid Partaw. Thank you very much for joining us here, Ahmed. So the US Secretary of State called this a pretty important breakthrough. Well, considering an 18-year war, what kind of breakthrough is realistic at the moment, and that can be pretty important?
Well, it appears that the proposal is getting very closer between the US and the Taliban, but we have to understand that this will be a phase-based agreement. So the first phase would be reduction of violence in Afghanistan. The second, an overwhelming agreement between the US and the Taliban, which paves the way for reduction of US troops from Afghanistan. And the third phase would be an intra-Afghan dialogue, which would focus on a post-American or post-war structure of a government. So this is a phase-based agreement. It appears that right now we are getting closer to a conditional proposal between the Taliban representatives and US representative in Doha for a week only. To see, if both parties are going to be abiding by those terms which are going to be in this proposal.
So from what you've been saying, I understand that this is a step, actually a small step, maybe to that important breakthrough that we are talking about. But as we said, we're talking about an 18-year war. But I mean, looking at last year, probably it's seen the violent attacks that have reached a record high in Afghanistan, especially in Kabul. So do you believe that there will be a breakthrough going forward?
I think this is a very important question and hard to tell, actually. As you are aware, there was recently 2 attacks in Kabul, which caused military casualties as well as 2 civilians. And there are ongoing skirmishes, fightings across the country right now. So this is a very good question for the Taliban, that will they abide by these terms to reduce violence? And most importantly, do they have control over their battlefield commanders? This is a very important an important step to be watching in this proposal, that will the Taliban be able to control their fighters in order to abide by the terms of the proposal, which insists on reduction of violence completely for a week.
And as you mentioned also, I mean, looking at 2 days ago, a military academy was actually targeted. So what needs to be done here to stop this violence? Why is Taliban obeying by the rules?
I think this is a very important and first step. It could pave the way for an agreement between the US and the Taliban, and then intra-Afghan dialogue, as I mentioned. So it remains to be seen. This is important because we need to see reduction of violence in Afghanistan, because there's, as I mentioned, fighting going on across the country, and with 2 recent suicide attacks on military targets in Kabul recently. And this is during the winter. We should not forget that once the summer comes, and then the real fight starts, because the winter time, due to Afghanistan's rough geographic location, does not allow the Taliban to operate as they are operating during the summertime. So reduction of violence in that sense is very important, crucial, both for the American side as well as the Afghan government, because this is a major demand of the Afghan people and now the unity government, that there must be a ceasefire, a complete ceasefire, in order to kick off the peace process with the Taliban.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much for that insight, Ahmad Murid Partaw.